Good evening and welcome to our Williams Island Pesach Seder. Passover is a very special holiday. We go from slavery to freedom. And right now we are under very different circumstances than we usually are for a Passover Seder. But I am thrilled that you have invited me into your homes, and I hope that together we can really celebrate this beautiful and special Jewish holiday. We begin all Jewish holidays with the lighting of candles to separate the darkness and create our light. So together, we are going to say the blessing. I hope you have set up your candles in your homes and you are now ready to say the blessing. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav vetzivanu lahadlik ner shel Yom Tov. Oh, hear our prayer, we sing to you. Be gracious to the ones we love, and bless them with goodness and mercy and peace. Oh, hear our prayer to you. Let us light these lights and sing our way to you, and let us say Amen. Let us light these lights and sing our way to you, and let us say Amen. We have 3 different matzot on our table. We have the matzah of the first, which is the Kohen matzah. We then have the Levi matzah in the middle, and we have the Yisrael on the bottom. The middle matzah is then broken, and we take it, and it becomes the afikomen, the most fun part of the Seder for the children as they run around and try to discover where it was hidden. And then you get to bargain for a prize. So I'm going to take half of the middle matzah, and I'm going to put it inside of our special afikomen bag. And later on, we will see if you could find where I hid it. Seder means order. There is a special order to our meal. Most festive meals is just eating and congregating with our families and our friends. But on Passover, we have an obligation to tell the story, lidor vador, from one generation to another. So even if you're in your homes right now and you are by yourself, or you are with some of your family, or you're Zooming with some of your family, or you are inviting them into your homes with FaceTime, let us all together tell and retell the story. We were slaves unto Pharaoh in Egypt. Avadim hayinu b'Mitzrayim. We are now going to tell the story that will lead us to our freedom. So right now on our Seder plate, we have the beitzah, the egg. The egg is a hard-boiled egg that is then burnt to symbolize the destruction of the temple. An egg also symbolizes springtime, beginnings, newness. We have the shank bone that comes from a lamb, that reminds us of the ritual sacrifice and the blood that was put on the doorposts of all the Israelites. So as the angel of death was going from home to home, it would skip over the Israelites' home. We have our bitter herbs, which bring tears to our eyes when we remember all the deaths and all the losses that we had when we were slaves unto Pharaoh in Egypt. And this year it's even more poignant for the people that we have lost to this terrible virus. And so when we eat our bitter herbs this year, we are going to be reminded and have the tears in our eyes, not only from our past generations, but from what we are experiencing today. We have the charoset, the apples, and the wine, and the nuts that are all mixed together, and I'm sure there's so many family traditions of different types of charoset, which represents the mortar that was used to hold the bricks together to build the pyramids, and the sweetness of the wine and the apples that remind us that from bitterness, we also have sweetness. We have parsley and we have lettuce to also represent springtime, newness, a new beginning. We take these items and at different times in the Seder, we dip them into our salt water, which represents the tears that our people shed when we were slaves unto Pharaoh in Egypt, and the tears that are shed now for all of the things that we have to deal with in a very different situation. We are now ready to do our blessing over the wine, so I hope that you have filled your Kiddush cup to the top. We also have our Kos Miriam, which is filled with water, the waters of Mayim, the Mayim ritual waters. And we remember that Miriam made all the wells appear, and they were filled with water and kept our people alive and filled with sustenance and life. We also have our special Elijah's cup, Eliyahu, who we will be welcoming at the end of our Seder to come in. When Eliyahu comes, he will be hopefully making the announcement of the Mashiach, of the Messiah, coming to our Passover Seders. And that is something absolutely that we would like to happen a lot sooner than later. So we are going to begin with our Kiddush for the holiday. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol am v'romamanu mikol ashon v'kiddeshanu b'mitzvotav v'titen lanu Adonai Eloheinu be'ava Moadim lesimcha, chagim uzmanim lesason. Et yom chag hamatzot hazeh, zman cherutenu, mikra kodesh, zecher litziat mitzrayim. Kivanu v'charta, ve'otanu kidashta mikol hamim umoadeh kodshecha besimcha uvsason hinachaltanu. Baruch atah Adonai Mekadesh Yisrael v'hazmanim. L'chaim. So why do we have 4 cups of wine this evening? 4 is a symbol that we see throughout our Seder. Take a moment right now and discuss with the people that are sitting around your Seder table. If you are alone, you can look this up. You can write down questions that you might have about this to be able to be answered after. 4 is a very special symbol. We have the 4 children that we will be singing about soon. We have the 4 cups of wine. And right now, we just did our first cup of wine, so there will be 3 more. There is a tradition in different families that different members of the table get a chance to say the bracha over the wine. And it's a very special time in our Seder because you get to hear different voices. And right now, though you are listening to mine, I hope that you are singing along with me. The next very important part of our Seder is the 4 questions. That is something we look forward to all the time. And if you have young members of your family with you and you are blessed with that, have them each have an opportunity to sing the 4 questions with me. There are different traditions in different families where it's sung in different languages. And I also have a friend who does it by doing it in sign language as well. It's a beautiful tradition. So together, we are always welcoming to all who would like to sing with us as we sing the 4 questions. Ma nishtana halayla hazeh mikol haleilot, mikol haleilot, shebechol haleilot anu ochlin chametz umatzah, chametz umatzah. Halayla hazeh, kulo matzah. Halayla hazeh, kulo matzah. On all other nights, we may eat chametz and matzah, but on this night, we can only eat matzah. Shebechol halelot anu ochlin she'ayirakot, she'ayirakot. Halayla hazeh, kulo maror. Halayla hazeh, kulo maror. On all other nights, we eat many vegetables, but on this night, only bitter herbs. Shebechol halelot enanu matbilim, afilu ba'am echad, afilu ba'am echad. Halayla hazeh, shetei ve'amim. Halayla hazeh, shetei ve'amim. On all other nights, we don't dip even once, except if we're dipping our French fries into ketchup. But on this night, we dip twice. Shebechol halelot en anu ochlin, ben yoshvinu vein misubim, ben yoshvinu vein misubim. Halayla hazeh, kulanu misubin. Halayla hazeh, kulanu misubin. On all other nights, we eat either sitting up or reclining. But on this night, we all recline. It was a tradition when I was growing up that my grandfather would have a very special pillow that was placed behind him so he could be really comfortable, and it's a vivid memory that I keep with me. Again, talk to the people that are sitting around your Seders or on FaceTime with you and ask them what they remember about their traditions during the Passover Seder. Obviously, this year, our new tradition for this year will be very different. And God willing, next year, when we are with all our family and friends, this will be a memory of Passover in 2020 and how different it was from all our other Seders. To be dipping the Karpas now, or your lettuce, into the salt water and say the blessing, Borei Pri Ha'adama. So we take the parsley and we dip it and we say together, Baruch Ata Adonai Eloheinu Melech HaOlam Borei Pri Ha'adama. We now take a bite, and we are reminded now of the springtime and dipping it into the tears, so we remember what the slaves went through at this time. There is also a tradition during the Passover Seder that the leader, the head of the Seder, washes their hands. They do orchatz, which is the washing of the hands. And we're going to have someone that is sitting in your house. Again, if you're alone, then please go and wash your hands now. This time the blessing is not said. So I'm going to go over the order of the Seder, which begins with Kadesh Orchatz. Kadesh Orchatz, Karpas Yachatz, Maggid Rachsa, Motzi Matzah, Maror Korech, Shulchan Orech, Safun Barech, Hallel Nirtzah. So we just did the Kadesh, and now we're going to move on to the breaking of the middle matzah, which we described was a Kohen, a Levi, and a Yisrael, which is also another wonderful conversation to have around your Seder table or on FaceTime or on Zoom to discuss with your family who is a Kohen, who is a Levi, who is a Yisrael. Some families know, there's lots of jokes about it. How do you become a Kohen? Obviously, it's from generation to generation, grandfather to father to son, and so on. In the Reform movement right now, a Bat Kohen, the daughter of a Kohen, is actually able to have all the privileges of a Kohen, or a Bat Levi, the daughter of a Levite, is also called up to the Torah with the same ability as a son of a Kohen or a Levi is. So that's a very special thing. We're going to move on now to the water of Miriam in Miriam's cup. Some families make their own Miriam's cup and they have them all over now. And the water inside reminds us of the cleansing and of the well. We can use this also as something that is described and discovered at our Passover Seders to incorporate and bring in a new tradition. The story of Passover. This is your time during the Seder where you can go around with your Haggadah and read out loud with the people that you are blessed to be sitting with or online and discuss the whole story of Moses and Miriam and Aaron and all the different things that happen to bring us from slavery to freedom. We just sang the 4 questions, and so we are now going to have the answer. Why is this night different from all other nights? The answering of the 4 questions goes like this. Avadim hayinu b'Mitzrayim. We were slaves unto Pharaoh in Egypt, and then we were free. Avadim hayinu lefaro b'Mitzrayim Avadim hayinu ata b'nei chorin Avadim hayinu lefaro b'Mitzrayim We were slaves unto Pharaoh in Egypt, and now we are free. One of the traditions of the Seder is talking about the 4 children, another 4. Symbol of 4 children. There was the wise, the wicked, the simple, and the one that was too young to ask. Most of us have all 4 qualities within ourselves. There are times where we have discussions with people where we don't have enough knowledge to be able to ask questions to continue a conversation. There are also times that we have a very strong opinion of something and we think that only our way of thinking is right. And then there's also times where we have conversations with people where we like to listen and we like to learn. And then there are times where we're the teacher and we share information with others so that they can learn from us. So as we go through the different children, think to yourself, where is there a place in my life where I acted as if I was the wicked child, or the simple child, or the one who doesn't even know how to ask, and see if this year we can improve our listening skills and our learning skills and be able to grow as people. The wise child likes to study and analyze details. Is that you? Give this child the tools to discover the meaning of Passover on their own and explain to them why it's important to retell the same story over and over and over. When we heard the story when we were 5, it had a very different meaning to us than we heard it at 10 and at 20 and 30 and 40 and so on. Our life experience changes what this story actually means to us. And this year, our Passover story has a very different meaning. The wicked child, or rebellious child, probably wants very little to do with Passover, and it might be extremely difficult to get them to even sit at the Passover Seder. But it is our job to engage them and make them excited and want to learn. Because if we alienate people because they don't think like we do, then we will one day have an empty table. A typical response to that child would be, what does this have to do with me? We have to explain that Passover is a celebration of freedom that we all enjoy. Since this child usually lacks empathy, ask questions that would involve them, like, how would you feel if you were a slave? What would you want to do about it? Right now, let's look around our tables and think, how does this feel? We can't leave our homes. We can't travel. We can't do any of the things that we used to do just a few weeks ago. Are we slaves? Or are we being careful and caring about each other? So the same thing that could be looked at in one way could also be looked at in another way. So is it wicked to feel, why are we even doing a Passover Seder this year? Ask yourself this. If we have survived generation after generation under the most awful of circumstances, yes, we need to do a Passover Seder so that next year, when we talk about this year, and the wicked person says, why do this? Why do we need to? The answer is because next year we will be free. The simple child. For a simple child who is easily overwhelmed, give them simple explanations. How many times have we been given explanations for things when we really only wanted one-sentence answers? If you go on and on and on, you lose people. This type of person, this type of child, needs the basic information. We were slaves unto Pharaoh in Egypt, but now we are free. Help them understand in the best and most loving way that you can. And the child that is too young to ask, or the person who is not knowledgeable enough to even ask the right question, or if you have somebody sitting at your table that is not religious or observant or not Jewish and doesn't even know the questions that should be asked, it is your job to embrace them, share with them in a loving and kind way so that they were happy that they asked or didn't even know to ask, and then you educated them and made them happy that they were sitting at your Passover table. We now toast to our endurance as a people. The matzah is covered, and the wine is held up, and we sing, Halach ma'anya, de'achalu avatana, de'achalu avatana, me'aradi mitzrayim, kol difriv kiyate ve'yechol, kol itiv yate ve'yifsach, Hashata avdei lishana haba behara de Mitzrayim. Many, many years ago in the land of Egypt, Joseph, the son of Jacob and Rachel, was sold into slavery and soon became an official in the court of the Egyptian Pharaoh. Joseph could interpret dreams which he used to predict the future. This was how we wound up in Egypt in the first place. This is the time in the Seder where you go around and everyone will read a piece of the Haggadah. If you are alone, then read it to yourself. Read it out loud. It will have a completely different meaning this year than it would have at any other time. We still have the responsibility as Jews that even if our circumstances and our surroundings are not what they were last year or what we would want them to be, we still have an obligation to continue to tell the story. The way we were able to leave Egypt was God bestowed 10 plagues on the Egyptians. Moses was the person who God chose to be the leader of the Jewish people. Was he perfect? Far from it. He actually had a speech impediment that prevented him from speaking clearly and strongly, as a leader in our mind should be able to speak. However, he was chosen on purpose because each of us has the ability to be a leader if we go into ourselves and discover what makes us unique and special. The 10 plagues, though very, very sad, and though there were many losses, were necessary to happen in order for Pharaoh to allow the Jewish people to leave. We have a very special song, Let My People Go, which tells some of the story. When Israel was in Egypt's land, let my people go. Oppressed so hard they could not stand, let my people go. Go down, Moses, way, way down in Egypt's land. Tell old Pharaoh, let my people go. When Israel was in Egypt's land, let my people go. Oppressed so hard they could not stand, let my people go. Go down, Moses, way, way down in Egypt's land. Tell old Pharaoh to let my people go. So, the 10 plagues. We take our finger and we dip it into the wine and put a drop on our plates to show everyone that we are counting the 10 plagues and that they are being said out loud to remind us not to be happy that people suffered for us to be able to be let go. So we don't lick our finger at the end, which I see some people do. We're actually sad that this happened. At midnight, God brought forth the 10th and most devastating plague, the killing of the firstborn. In every Egyptian household, the firstborn child suddenly took ill and died. But the plague passed over the homes of the Israelite slaves. It was then that Pharaoh finally agreed to free the Israelites. While we celebrate the freeing of the Israelites from slavery, God has instructed us to take no pleasure from the suffering of the Egyptians. So now we take our finger and dip and put on our plate. I will say it and you can repeat after me. Dam Svardeya Kinim Arov Dever Shechin Barad Arbe Choshech Machat Bechorot. And in English, blood, frogs, lice, wild beasts, cattle plague, boils, hail, locusts, darkness, and the killing of the firstborn. When you have children asking the question, we don't have any of these things happening now. What does this have to do with us? We do. Every one of these plagues still go on in our world. And it is up to us to change the next generation and to share with them that we are responsible to take care of this world, which we now see is going on with all the terrible things that we are going through now. So blood, obviously you can have a conversation. What goes on now with our blood? That all the diseases and all the different things that we are still living with. Frogs, the overcoming all of the different things that go on our earth that are destroying our crops, that is destroying our food system. Lice still exists. There are people that live in poverty that have terrible skin diseases and things going on. It's our responsibility to help them the best that we can. All of the plagues, the boils, the hail, the locusts, the darkness, the killing of the firstborn, all of these things are prevalent in society all over us, and it is our responsibility to educate the next generations of what we can do to take responsibility. Those are conversations that you could have around your Seder table this year as well. So what happened was we got to the water, and even after all the plagues, and Pharaoh said, "Go, go, go, take your people and go," what happened? We turned around and there they were behind us again, trying to get to us before we got through the Red Sea. So the Jewish people get to the water and they're standing there, and obviously as slaves they never had an opportunity to learn how to swim. And they're standing there and they're looking at Moses and saying, "Now what? How do we get through? We don't know how to swim. We are frightened. We are afraid. Moses, what do we do?" And you know, there is a very special story that there was one man who had such belief in God, who walked into the water all the way up to his nose before the water opened up, before the Jewish people were able to get through. I will give you one moment to go around your table and to ask the question, who was this man? Okay, the answer was Nachshon. Nachshon believed with all his heart that if God had taken him out of Egypt, that he would not allow him to drown in the waters when he finally got there. And so Nachshon walked into the water parted. Moses took his staff, it opened up, and those of you who've watched the 10 Commandments, it was all a big, huge, wonderful, extravagant scene, and the Jewish people went through. And then when the Egyptians followed after, the water then closed. When we got to the other side, Miriam and all the women danced and celebrated the fact that they got through. There is a very special song that was written by Debbie Friedman about Miriam going through the water and getting to the other side. I was very blessed to know Debbie very well, and it touches my heart every time I have the opportunity to sing such a beautiful song that she wrote. And the women dancing with their timbrels followed Miriam as she sang her song. Sing a song to the one who we've exalted. Miriam and the women danced and danced the whole night long. And Miriam was a weaver of unique variety. The tapestry she wove was one which sang our history. With every strand and every thread she crafted her delight. A woman touched with spirit, she dances towards the light. And the women dancing with their timbrels followed Miriam as she sang her song. Sing a song to the one who we've exalted. Miriam and the women danced and danced the whole night long. One of the most famous songs that we sing at the Passover Seder is Dayenu. What does Dayenu mean? It means it would have been enough. In English, these are the words. Had God brought us out of Egypt, but not executed judgment against the Egyptians, it would have been enough. Had God executed judgments against their gods, but did not slay their firstborn, it would have been enough. Had God slain the firstborn, but not given us their wealth, it would have been enough. Had God given us their wealth, but not split the sea for us, it would have been enough. Go around your Seder table this year and ask, what is your Dayenu? Ask the people that you are FaceTiming with or Zooming with. What would have been enough this year? Every year I think that this is one of the most enjoyable songs to sing because everyone knows it. But what would be enough for us in our life? I know right now my Dayenu this year would be if I could just be with all the people that I love. That would be enough. And so when you discuss this, ask yourself, what really is enough? Ilu, ilu, hotzianu, hotzianu, mi Mitzrayim, hotzianu, Dayenu. Dayenu, 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 Dayenu. Ilu natan lanu et hashabat natan lanu Dayenu, da 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 Dayenu, 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 Dayenu. So, we now go on in our Seder with the Matzah. The Matzah is covered. We raised the glass of wine, which we did. I'm going to leave it up to you in this virtual Seder to do your next 3 cups of wine without me. Because if we do them in order, we will be here for a very long time. And by the 2nd cup of wine, I probably wouldn't be able to do a very good job leading the rest of the Seder. So you're on your own. Remember the bracha, the special blessing. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. L'chaim. So, we went over all of the different symbols for our Seder. We take our matzah right now, and we're going to do our special blessing, which is al achilat matzah. This matzah is very special because this matzah comes from a place of reminding us from generation to generation, Ledor Vador. Ledor Vador, we take the piece of matzah and we hold it up. And the interesting thing is we say the bracha over what we would say a piece of bread, hamotzi lechem min haaretz. We say first, then we say al achilat matzah. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu al achilat matzah. You take your piece of matzah and you would take a bite and eat it. Because this is pre-recorded and I am following a tradition that you don't taste matzah for 2 weeks before you sit down at your Seder. And so I'm not actually at my Seder yet, so I'm waiting for my first piece, my first taste of matzah when I sit down at the Seder. So you would take your bite now? Okay. So everyone will pass around a piece of matzah. If you're by yourself, you don't have to share this here. That's a good thing. So, okay. We take this matzah not only as it is commanded in the Torah by God, 7 days you shall eat unleavened bread. But this matzah also symbolizes the unleavened bread our ancestors ate when they were leaving Egypt. Now we take the bitter herbs. The bitter herbs is, I'm going to take it actually, I'm going to take my matzah and we take the bitter herbs, we put it on it, and then we would say, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu al achilat maror. You would take a bite. Blessed are you, Adonai our God, creator of the universe, who makes us holy with your mitzvot and has commanded us concerning the eating of the maror. Now this is actually my favorite part of the Seder, because I don't know about you, but I'm pretty hungry at this point. And this is called the Hillel sandwich. You would take a little bit of the charoset, and it gets put on top of your matzah with the maror together, and you make a little sandwich, which is called the Hillel sandwich, where you have the sweetness and the bitterness and the matzah. It is written in the Torah, they shall eat it, the Passover sacrifice or paschal lamb, with matzah and bitter herbs. Rabbi Hillel, a revered scholar who lived when the temple still stood, used to combine the Passover offerings of the paschal lamb, the matzah, and the maror, and eat them together in a sandwich. Since we no longer have a paschal lamb at our Seder table, and I have to say thank God, especially since I'm a vegetarian, we now use matzah, maror, and charoset to make the sandwich. The bottom matzah is now taken, and we make a sandwich, and we eat the sandwich, which you can do now. We are now ready for our third cup of wine. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. The Chaim. Take a sip of your wine. I'm sure by now, especially since we've all been inside our homes for so long, your third cup of wine probably is not as potent as it would have been a few weeks ago, but still go slow. We now have a very part of our Seder, which we welcome Elijah the prophet, Eliyahu Hanavi. Eliyahu Hanavi was my favorite part when I was a child because everybody would run to their door, open up the door, everyone would stand up and sing Eliyahu Hanavi. Now, if you are inside an apartment, you can open up your door, but make sure you stand 6 feet away from it in case all your neighbors are doing the same thing. And we will welcome Elijah to our Seder. Eliyahu Hanavi, Eliyahu Hatishbi, Eliyahu, Eliyahu, Eliyahu Hagiladi, Bimera b'yameinu, Yavo Eleinu, Moshiach ben David, Moshiach ben David, Eliyahu Hanavi, Eliyahu Hatishbi, Eliyahu, Eliyahu, Eliyahu Hagiladi. The fourth cup of wine. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. L'chaim. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, creator of the universe, who creates the fruit of the vine. At this point in our Seder, we would be getting ready for our special meal. So I invite you to really enjoy this meal this year, because there are people that do not have enough to eat. And there are people who haven't worked in weeks and weeks and do not have the ability to fill up their table and make it beautiful. Use this year to really thank God for what you do have and not what you don't. And I pray for all of us, please, dear God, next year, not only should we be in Yerushalayim, but that we shall really be safe and healthy and free. As a special request from many of you that I see as I'm walking the island, you asked me to do a Mishaberach prayer, a prayer for those who are ill and in need of healing. So before we close our Seder, I ask you to bring to mind the people that are sick right now, the people that are not doing well, and ask God for a refuah shalema, a complete and speedy recovery. And also thank you to all of the people that are outside of their homes helping us to keep us safe, the doctors, the nurses, the first responders, the people that are bringing us our groceries, everyone that is helping, including the camera crew who is very far away from me, and Stephanie, who is also very far away from me. Thank you so much for making this possible for all the people so they can have a Seder. Mi shebeirach avotenu mekor habracha leimotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Mi shebeirach imotenu mekor habracha lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shalema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen. Next year in Jerusalem, Lishana Hava'a, Lishana Hava'a, Lishana Hava'a b'Yerushalayim, Lishana Hava'a, Lishana Hava'a b'Yerushalayim. Yerushalayim. A Zisen Pesach, a sweet Pesach to all.